Hello everyone and welcome to the Care for Your Yarra webinar. Today we're going to be talking about the new platform that we've developed, how you can use it and why we've made it to help you get upskilled before joining us on our volunteer activities. First, however, I would like to say that the Yarra Riverkeeper Association acknowledges that the lands and the waterways of the Yarra catchment, the Birrarung and beyond are the unceded territories of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung and Boonwurrung peoples. We pay our respects to the elders who have been caring for country since time began, and also to all traditional owners who continue to speak for country. We acknowledge that the river now known as the Yarra was originally called the Birrarung by its custodians. So thank you all for joining. It's going to be a pretty straightforward webinar. I'm going to go through the website, talk a little bit about why we've developed it, and then run you through it, and then you should have all the skills you need to go through the website, watch the content, and then become or sign up for volunteering if you haven't already. So before we dive into the website or the platform and look at all the content that's been built into it, I just want to talk quickly about why we are here and why we've developed this resource. So main reason is we have our old model, which was we have people who want to volunteer with the Yarra Riverkeepers and they're kind of not sure what they need to do. And in the past, we've kind of just signed you straight up to our volunteer platform, Voliby, where you can see all the activities that we're running. You create your account and you can sign up and book in for activities. That worked. However, what we were finding was that a lot of the volunteers were kind of not feeling comfortable yet. You know, they were going to turn up at a planting day and not really know anything about plants or weeding and the larger picture around why we do the planting days. So we decided that maybe it would be a good idea to develop a little platform, somewhere where volunteers could go to learn more about what they would be doing, so that they feel a bit more competent, a bit more comfortable and confident when they turn up on the day as a volunteer. And so the new model that we've come to is to try and break up those 2 points and say, okay, well, we need to get some skills or experience or knowledge available to volunteers who it's their first time engaging with us or in this space. So the new model has the possible option for the same old pathway of someone who's, I'm feeling pretty confident, I've done this before, I want to just go straight into Voliby, sign up and get going. So that's still possible. However, with the Care for Your Yarra site, which I'll show you in a moment, it now offers this new pathway where we can say to volunteers, okay, if you don't feel comfortable, you're welcome to jump onto Care for Your Yarra, go through the resources, read up a bit, watch some videos, maybe take some notes, and then for sure after that you will feel more confident when you come to our planting days, our events, litter cleanups, with you bringing already some expertise in what's going on, what's the problem, what are we doing about it, and why are we doing it, and you'll feel much more confident on the day as a volunteer. So this is why we have gone to the effort of creating Care for Your Yarra. It's going to be a really interesting platform to see how it goes, and it'll be continually evolving as well. That's the other thing. So we've got a base so far, and as our activities expand or as our content expands, there'll be more resources available, more information, and so we're eager for kind of a bit of feedback and back and forth with that. Definitely open to growing the platform to what it needs to be for you as a volunteer, to help you feel comfortable. So that's a bit about the platform and why we have created it. So it's a fairly simple website. We didn't want to make it too complicated. Essentially the landing page here, Care for Your Yarra, you can go to the About page, read about us. We've got our resources. This will be your main hub for watching videos, lectures. Then we've got a blog where you can keep up to date on what's been happening and our projects. And our reports. This will link you straight to our main website where all our reports are kept. So that'll pop open a new tab. And then you've also got your link to straight up become a volunteer if you feel ready. And you'll find these links throughout the website, so no need to always come back to this one. And of course, donation if you're feeling so generous. So again, learn a bit more about the website or why we've put it together. I've already spoken to that. And so you're going to come to this kind of let's get started, and this is where we start to branch out the videos and the knowledge that we have added into their categories. So if you want to learn more about advocacy, regen or leadership, and you can click through and go towards the kind of information that you want. Again, these links pop up, a few testimonials written by past volunteers or current volunteers, and then of course a little bit of our impact and our blog. So that's the front page. You should be able to find most of what you need off of this. If you do click on these, it will start taking you into the resources. So as I am the LIDA officer as well, let's have a look at the LIDA resources that we have. So we've gone into resources here. You can see the link, and what loads are a whole bunch of articles, you could say. We'll open a new page with either a webinar or information on information that's come from our reports. So let's have a look at polystyrene pollution, a webinar that I did 1 or 2 years ago now. So it'll load up the resource with a little introduction as to what you'll find on that page. And then, for instance, on this one, it's a video. So you would play, you can either watch it here or open in a new tab on YouTube and skip through that and see what you can pick up. So these, for example, this is a very in-depth webinar into the research that we're doing into polystyrene pollution. Once you've watched this video, you will be one of the most knowledgeable people on polystyrene pollution in Melbourne. And that is a prime example of why this resource is here. You can watch this, gain that knowledge, and then when you turn up to LIDA events or do your own work with LIDA, you have such an understanding of where polystyrene comes from. You know, what categories of pollution are we finding in which locations? These kind of bits of information which suddenly propel you towards essentially being an expert on the topic, or at least knowing a lot more than the average person, and that makes you feel confident about sharing that knowledge when you come to events or meet other people. So this is exactly how we're trying to build up that shared experience for you on this platform. So let's jump back to resources and have a look at what else we have while this loads. Okay, so we're back to the resources. So if you just click on this up here at the top, it'll take you to the resource home. And it looks like this, kind of a little folder of all the different topics and all of our different pieces of content. So we could look at the area in general, LIDA is where we were, leadership, ecological regeneration. So for example, let's say you want to learn more about identification, click on that, come down. And so this is then broken up into insects, weeds and wildlife, and that matches up with some webinars that we've done. So we had a series that we developed during the COVID lockdowns to reach people online, and that involved getting them outdoors. But first we wanted to give them some more knowledge about what they might find. So we did a webinar, and there's also a toolkit. And so this toolkit has a lot of information on a selection of species that you'll find when you move around Melbourne. And so please, watch the webinar, download the toolkit, have a look through it, see what you can learn. Weeds is a very big one. We have 2 weeding toolkits. There are many weeds in Melbourne, which is a really handy skill to have if you're going to be at events or even just doing your own gardening. It's really worthwhile knowing which plants are weeds, which are not, because it's not always so easy to identify the difference between them. So you're welcome to check those out, learn more about wildlife, and that can help you with your skills on identification, and also just make you more connected to nature. When you're walking around and you can identify weeds or identify certain insect species, you definitely feel much more connected to the place you live in. It's a wonderful feeling, and I recommend you go through that. Now, let's go back to resources. And so, yeah, you're welcome to load these, look through all the toolkits, upskill on these different areas. And that's kind of the bulk of the website, is the resources that we have. That's where all the information is, where you can really feel comfortable having learned these new practices as well. There's a little bit on methods and how we do things, but that's the main bulk of the content, is sharing our experience with you. What do you need to know? And that's pretty much it, I guess. In terms of, bridging that gap between I'm completely new, I don't know anything about plants, or I don't know anything about litter, and getting to that point where you say, hey, I want to help out with a litter cleanup, or I want to help out with a weeding day, because now I can identify a few weeds, and I understand why we're doing this. So as far as bridging that gap goes, this is what we've developed. And yeah, as I said, we're always looking for more feedback. Have a look through, let us know if you find anything that you think, or you have any ideas where you're like, hey, this could really improve the site. Let us know. And yeah, we're really keen to see how you use it, and hopefully increase your comfort and your confidence when coming to our events. So thank you very much for joining. And if you have any questions, please get in touch. There'll be some contact info down below. And otherwise, thank you again,